Hello, Internet. Welcome back. Welcome back. What a week it's been. It's wonderful.
We've done it. We made it to a second episode.
That's right.
Even though I forgot.
Yeah, but you know that you'll be you're going to whip out that ukulele in a minute and start playing something. So yeah. That is, but you have to wait. That's the
when
finale.
I make my first million, I'll rip out the ukulele. How's that sound? We'll make it an incentive.
All right, that could happen by the end of the hour.
Oh yes, without a doubt. We need Emerald Musk to show up on our YouTube chats and start bombing us with donations, like the fucking Doge videos when Doge went viral. These YouTube channels that kept popping up and they just popped up. And I was like, I make a YouTube channel. That's not how this works. That's sus. And suddenly, like within 3 days, they've got 10,000 subscribers. Yeah, fuck off. And then they've got all these like super chats and like obvious astroturfing there. That's what I was a bit sus. It was like, that's not, when you make YouTube or anything like that, you sit there and you go, okay, this isn't organic. There's something going on here. Anyway. But that goes into the sort of sus stuff, right? I think, I'll go ahead.
Totally. Well, so look, let's firstly like outline in the last episode and through the podcast and everything, we've been saying we're both idiots. The truth is, I'm an idiot, and you're not such an idiot. You're a bit of an idiot, but not really. You kind of know what you're talking about.
I'm technical,
I still text you at like 4 o'clock in the morning saying, "What the fuck's going on? The markets are dropping," and you're like, "Fuck, stop it! It's normal. Stop, everything's fine." Like something happened. What is it? And you'd be like,
it's usually Elon Musk tweeted. I think that seems to be
every single fucking time. It's because Musk has tweeted something about Bitcoin. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. But I think it's good to point out that you are somebody who has got, and of course your regular audience will know this very well, that you actually have got a bit of experience and a bit of expertise in the tech world, and you kind of know what you're talking about. Whereas I, on the other hand, have no idea whatsoever.
I never claim to know everything because the people who claim, that's Dunning-Kruger stuff, you know. So I claim to know less than I know. But usually if you ask me a question, I can answer you. Unless it's like what pancake swap is, I don't know the answer to that, which you asked me before.
That's true.
Still learning that part.
we were talking about pancake swap before we came on because it's part of this massive chain of events that needs to happen if you want to buy SafeMoon. And
yes.
Mate, should we punch into SafeMoon from the top, or is there any other housekeeping we need to take care of?
Maybe we'll tell people what we plan on talking about up front.
Yeah, all right.
So we are planning on talking about Elon Musk and a whole bunch. There may or may not be some organically introduced conspiracy theories because I've been deep diving in that area. So what I focus on is the inorganic stuff like astroturfing, you know, power, how it's manipulated. Right. You know, that's my area of that is the dark side of things, right? I'm always drawn to the darkness. But we should talk about Elon Musk so people understand a little bit of the context, I think, of like why Doge went viral. I think because it seems to have just popped out of nowhere. And as someone who basically studies memes and knows how to go viral, I'm pretty sure that very few things go spontaneously viral anymore. That a lot of people have figured out the formula and they know how to do it. And it's, you know what I mean? So I think that we need to talk a little bit about that because that's a big thing in crypto. So that, you know, astroturfing in crypto is a big thing. But so we'll talk about SafeMoon.
And talk about SafeMoon.
Elon Musk and some NFT stuff. Because people are confused about NFTs and what. I don't think anyone should be buying NFTs just yet. Very excited.
Okay,
very exciting, but don't. NFT? Yeah. So NFT, I think the technology is a great idea, but it's still stuck on one platform or a couple of. They're still figuring out which is the Ethereum network. Okay, and I'll explain. That's that ecosystem stuff that I was talking about before. Well, where people get confused, I think, where blockchain is like referring to like HTTP. You know, like you go, okay, so underneath that, you've got a bunch of stuff. Okay, you've got like Apple versus Google is probably your best. You know, like if you've got a Samsung phone or an Apple phone, and then you're committed to the apps. So underneath that, you've got your Apple phone, you've got, when I talk about ecosystems, I mean that. You kind of lock, that you're on that one ecosystem. Underneath that, you've got all the sort of different currencies and coins which run on like that ecosystem. So on Ethereum, you've got a bunch of things running on Ethereum. I can't think right now clearly. You've got like the Tron network, which has like BitTorrent and Lemon and other currencies. Then you've got Pancake, which is its own thing, and then you got Binance, and then but they've got coins, lots and lots of coins underneath. They're called tokens. Okay.
So those are like, it's like the difference between Pocket Casts and Castbox, and then you've got all the different podcasts that exist inside those, but you can have the same podcast can exist in two different ones, right? So
yeah, that works.
I'm putting it in language that I understand.
Yeah. No, it's actually a big part of my, like, what I'm trying to do is make this plain English, because it's very confusing. Because you've also got so many, and people really, when people talk about blockchain technology, it's pretty old. It just means peer-to-peer, like BitTorrent. Right. Think of BitTorrent, right? Peer-to-peer, okay? Now, and it's decentralized, okay? It's largely, and so, but it is immature. A lot of these coins, especially with coin releases, is that the technology, a lot of it is done based on hype and a white paper. There's not really a bit. It's like if you did an IPO as a company, you had a company, and then you did an initial public offering before you had a product.
Yes. Okay.
It was you did an IPO based on a pitch deck. You get what I'm saying? Like a lot of these things are just a white paper or proof of concept. That's why it looks confusing, and why people say it's MLM, or why because it's not that. It's like the early days of the internet, where there's a bunch of people who see the potential for things, and people are buying into the potential, and there's a bunch of naysayers who are like, nah, it's not like, and then there's going to be those late adopters who only invest when there's a product, or when. That's why I like things that have technology underneath that actually works, right?
Then there's a bunch
white papers are one thing.
Like who just think that maybe this is something that we should get on board, just in case it's like.
And that's the thing. Yeah, exactly. And it's good. But exactly. So there's so many different reasons for doing it. Like one of the platform that I'm looking to build at the moment is going to have like virtual currency as part of like a way to pay contributors, right? So, but also to encourage good behavior. So good and bad behavior, and so using that stuff to sort of, make people behave well and promote positive behaviors. So, but I'm saying, so there's lots of different ways to do these things, right? So anyway, so I just wanted to explain that, because with NFTs, okay, which is basically means non-fungible tokens, but at the moment, the main marketplaces are on Ethereum, okay? And so that means that if you are going to put your life's work on NFT, you're locked into Ethereum, because there's no guarantee necessarily that NFT is going to work on other currencies or other blockchains. You get what I'm saying? So I'm just cautious. Because it's like, well, that's like saying, well, I'm all in on Samsung, and I'm going to let Samsung hold on to $55,000 of my shit and my artwork. What if everyone who all your fans moved to Cardano? You've got to make sure that you get what I'm saying? There's got to be a way to if you sell your art on Ethereum-based platform, you need to be able to move. So portability is going to be an issue if suddenly, especially with the whims of crypto and that sort of stuff, you just want to make sure, especially with they're trying to figure that out, but that's my hesitation with NFTs. So
and what Mark Cuban, who continues to say Dogecoin, and honestly fucking stop it, but Mark Cuban was talking about, somebody asked him, why don't you come and use, maybe it was Algorand or or one of the other, or maybe it was ADA, I can't remember. But he said, all right, sure.
ADA. ADA is a good one.
Show me where can I use it?
Yeah.
Whereabouts?
Yeah, exactly.
It's that simple. What's the practical implication? Why do I want this? I want a coin that I can spend. And that will, that's something that has value to him. So obviously you can spend Dogecoin or Dogecoin, as he fucking says, or and you can spend Bitcoin. I mean, you can spend Bitcoin almost anywhere. There's a lot of places.
Not at Tesla.
Not more. Is that a segue? No, I'm not finished. So one other thing I wanted to say is fungible means returnable or negotiable. So non-fungible means you can't return it. It's not negotiable. It's set in stone. It's like a non-interchangeable.
Yeah.
With anything else.
Yes.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
This is the part where I'm good at one area of life. I'm good at it. Yeah. Once you start talking about like, I've been reading a book. I recommend it to anyone who's watching. Is Debt, the First 5,000 Years by David Graeber, and he talks about like money theory, like the history of money, like through humanity and its role that it's played, and like how neoliberal economics has been like inserted itself as the default, and it's not necessarily even based on anything. It's kind of like the ultimate meme of all time, that everyone just takes these things as given when they're actually not. Right. It's just, yeah. So, yeah, he's an amazing guy. R.I.P. David Graeber, but a great book. But a lot of crypto stuff applies to that, because a lot of it is rethinking money and your relationship with money, like, and also how poor people think about money versus rich people. Like, rich people see a credit card as they always play with house money. This is something I find really interesting about like super rich people. Like, I've met a few in my life, right? Yep. They make every cent work to make more money, right? They're always playing with the house money. So like a credit card or mortgage, like even if let's say you fell into money. This is really interesting to me. I don't know whether it's interesting to others, but just something where it's just really a different like we see money as something that we need to spend to meet our needs. And, like the interest rate on a credit card at 20%, right? But yeah. For the rich, they could use a credit card at 20% interest and they go, that's fine because I'll make 50%. So I'll just put everything on that and use that money. I'll use the bank's money and use that thing as a tool to make more money. Like this whole hedges thing with shorting, they have the way that they look at money is that it's just shuffling big amounts of money. And this probably leads into the Safe Moon thing, which is the way that we didn't define whale last week. I was left wanting with our last week's podcast. We didn't define whale. A whale is someone with a fuck ton of money who is able to manipulate the market, like just by buying up a bunch at once. So they have like large wallets, like millions of dollars. And on the shit coin, sometimes it's thousands, but at the right time. But a whale is someone with a. So
they can make a tiny movement that sends ripples all over the place.
Exactly. So Citadel would be considered a whale. BlackRock, they're a whale. But Elon Musk, if he has crypto, would probably be considered a whale. But also you've got everyday whales. You've also got exchanges that are whales. So the big controversy with Dogecoin, or the big mystery, is that big DH5 wallet, right? They call it DH5, which is the number one wallet of Dogecoin, which had 30% of all Dogecoin supply. Now, there's still, at first they've started to spread the message that it was Elon Musk. That was a funny little game, right? That was interesting, where they had there was one YouTube channel in particular that was pushing this idea, and they had this fake, I imagine fake sort of person to come in and start loading super chats of $99 a pop on this live stream as Emerald Musk, and got everyone thinking that it was Elon Musk. It was just like, are you kidding? Like when this first went viral, it was so weird because it's so obviously like not true. And there's a lot of, and these guys, what was weird is they were all in on Doge. Okay. So this was, I don't want to name names because I like the guys, but it's like, so
name
them.
Okay.
You had King Valhalla, Stephen Steele, Mr. Crypto. Right. Okay. Crypto Kid. People came and went.
Are they good guys? Do we like these people?
Hey, I don't. Well, you don't trust it. You don't trust anyone in crypto. Yeah. The rule is this is the Wild West. You do not trust anybody in crypto. That's like rule number one. Okay, they're not your friend when there's money involved, and with the volatility and all that stuff. Especially like you can end up in a pump and dump scam within like minutes. And have all your money disappear. It's like a really crazy thing. I would say Doge, if you use, that's why I make sure that people, like those people are like, get your own hard wallet and, don't don't just jump on the shiny new tech, stick with like known things. Yes, you might not make as much, but when you don't know, You know, like hopping from place to place and fucking around, and you just risk losing losing your money, right? And losing your money to a scam. So that's just a bit of advice. That's just fucking internet advice. So anything that you would do with your bank account, like don't just log into your bank account from a website. Don't do the same thing with your crypto wallet, right?
But what was
these guys?
What was Emerald Musk up to? Well, what happened?
Oh, well, so there was this person that would show up, like, so they're doing like all night streams, and there's this person that would show, and you had like Matt Wallace, you know, hyping, doing what Matt Wallace does, and you've got Upshod, right? This is the main ecosystem, and I believe that it is actually an elaborate marketing campaign. They can say whatever the fuck they want, whatever. It's not organic. It's an accidentally perfect situation. Let's put it that way. So you've got the so these guys set up this channel, and it like suddenly just overnight popped up with 10,000 members. I went, okay, well, it looks like someone bought an aged. You can buy aged YouTube accounts, right? So I was like, oh yeah, whatever. That's what people do. That's news to a lot of people, but you can just buy an account with followers first up. You got enough money, you can do whatever, right? There's different rules for the rich, as everyone knows.
Of course there is.
So and so basically they were like streaming around the clock, right? Like with guests and all this stuff, hyping Doge. And then all of a sudden with this like mystery wallet, right? This, the thing that they started to suggest that it might be Elon Musk. And there was this sort of weird thing where it's like, Elon Musk is the whale. There's coded messages in the deposits in this thing. So they got a decryptor to do a Twitch stream and start decoding those things. And they were all like end times and, like sort of very anarchist kind of messages. Then people started taking, there's always those taking the piss ones, whatever. Then they had ones with Elon Musk's birthday in them and, all that sort of shit. But there was this live chatter that this viewer that would come in and start raining super chats of like $99, $50, $99, like over and over again on this channel, and called himself Emerald Musk. And it was weird. It was like a daily thing where they just show up. And I was like, this is weird. And I almost believed, that thing where you go, I almost believed it because it's up his alley. Being a fuckhead like that. Yeah. And also, I also know that if you're doing that with your credit card, you would get a call if you weren't someone with a mad ton of money that does that. Oh, you get what I'm saying? So I started to rationalize and go, well, if I did that with my credit card, that'd get frozen. You can't do that, right? Yeah. But anyway, so that was, so it was very weird. And I started to go, okay, but then I started to watch more of the decrypting stuff, the mystery stuff, because I was like, oh, what's these codes? That's my, like fucking geeky. And then all of a sudden there was this thing, and they were streaming every day, and they had the videos there, they had the replays there like any other channel. And then what happened was that it's so weird to explain because it was like, I seen it. I was there. But basically we were sitting there watching this thing, and he decoded something and then searched something, and then someone tweeted him, right? This anonymous account tweeted him and said something, blah, blah, blah. I can't remember what it was, but it's like, go to this website. And it was a video from Anonymous saying that they're going that something's going to happen with Bitcoin. They're going to hack Bitcoin and blah, blah, blah. And then I know I'm skipping, but I'm just saying like it was very hazy because it happened very quickly. Yeah. And then basically there was this anonymous video that said, we're going to do this, 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 and this. And then the Twitter account sent a link to this message that took an exchange down. And I can't remember what exchange it was that went down. Yeah, I know. And then it's like, what the fuck? Okay. So Anonymous showed up and everyone panicked. So everyone freaked out. So everyone's like, what the fuck is going on? I thought this was Doge. Like, this is fun. And like, this is obviously why I got sucked in, because I love the dark shit. And I'm like, oh, there's something sinister going on here. So I went, oh, okay. That's fucking weird. But what got me, it wasn't anything. It was like, oh yeah, Anonymous showed up. Anyone can be anonymous, put a mask on and like put a voice thing on. And I've made fun of them with my Borderlands mask before, right? They sounded like a Marilyn Monroe quote, with a fucking voice modulator, right? But so you just kind of dismiss it. But everyone panicked. Everyone was like, oh fuck, are we in trouble? Like, what the fuck's going on here? And then a bunch of people left the channel. But they started laughing in this really kind of sinister way, which I'm not sure was like welcome to crypto or people were genuinely fucking scared. That video got taken down, and then they took down replays, and then it got weird, and then they I don't know whether it was manufactured drama, but then they all fought like all these big fights and splits. So they've got their own channels going, they're all streaming, and then they all just suddenly went over to plug SafeMoon. Like next minute, they're plugging SafeMoon. Like nothing, like Anonymous didn't show up and nothing, like we didn't see it. Like, you know, that thing where I was like, did I even see that, or was I hallucinating? Because it all happened in fractions of a second. And it was very funny, but
it all seems very legit,
weird.
Very legit.
Yeah, I know. And everything that you know about the internet says legit there, right? And I'm just, you know, again, it's not I don't know the individuals involved, what their point of view is, but all of a sudden you start to see this as something orchestrated. And you go, I think I might dig further into this thing. Okay, because they had me on as a guest a few times, because I was talking about how, because I've worked with like artists and how NFTs excite me and the role that they could be. We you know, the free, all we've been doing is fighting for artists to have freedom on the internet and autonomy and be able to just do art and make money and not be fucked, right? That's my position.
Yeah,
and
right.
Blockchain and crypto provide that, and that's what I want to. That's the tech I want to build, right?
Okay.
But, you know, finally that utilizes things properly so the artists get a proper share. That's the platforms I've built over years. I basically built Spotify in 2003 and couldn't get funding for it because no one would buy. No one would buy. They go, no one's going to stream music. The only difference between Spotify and my product was that my product was a label.
Well, they were visionaries, weren't they? Because who streams music now, honestly? Cool.
No, but I did it. Yeah, so I actually couldn't get funding. So anyway, that's the whole thing. So So I've done products over the years where I've spec'd them and they've just, you know, I've just wrong place, wrong time, whatever.
But at least you know you're like you can be ahead of the curve sometimes.
I well and truly. Well, I live perpetually ahead of the curve. That's the problem. But anyway, so so this is like what happened in real time, and I'm sure that a lot of people who are interested, who came to Doge off the back of the meme, okay, saw the same thing, because thousands of people were watching this unfold, and nobody who mentioned it, nobody talks about it, no one mentions it. And every time, and I did some digging, and I'm like, hey, what about Kronos and the SPAC that they're making? What about the people who've registered trademarks in the US for Dogecoin who aren't Marcus and who aren't Billy and who are they? Who are those people? And then an associate of mine has done some digging, and he's linked them back to Citadel, who've like registered the trademark. And it's like, why is no one talking it? And I keep raising it. And it's like, this is why, you know how I've said, with every confidence, I believe Doge is a good fucking buy. It's because of all of this, that there's obviously some elaborate marketing campaign that I'm not in on, because they pay all the streamers, but I never get called because they know that I'm fucking.
There's no reason why Bitcoin or crypto isn't subject to patent trolls. They troll everything.
Yeah, well that was my first instinct.
Bound to happen sooner or later.
I was told that's not the case.
Are they Aussie kids who designed Dogecoin?
Sorry?
Are they Australians?
No. Billy Marcus is and the other guy is Australian, I think. Billy Marcus is American. And they work for IBM and Adobe.
Okay, so one of them is Australian. All right, well, that's good.
But also, they're also engineers for both of those companies, and I don't, you know, I'm just saying there's a lot of questions that no one seems to be given. You know how when you've been on the internet for I'm on my 26th year on the internet, there's a few things that you see and a few patterns that you see, and one of them is that you know that the internet is fucking curious. You've just got to feed any kind of thing, and you pique people's curiosity, and people go, what's this SPAC? What's this thing? Who's that? No one's asking it. And I'm sitting there because it's buried in memes. It keeps being buried in memes, right?
This is the world we're in, though. Nobody asks questions, especially fucking journalists, right? We're in a world where journalists are happy to go with what they're told. It's and it's not just here. And you know, I mean, look, I don't want to cut you off, because I think you were on a good roll. Just
cut me off.
We're heading towards this zombie apocalypse because people are stupid. Two things are infinite: the universe and human stupidity. And human stupidity is just walking us all off a fucking cliff. And so
I have a different view on that, but
Okay.
I have a view that we all live under a system that just is designed for us to survive, just barely live on survival. Like, look at the way look at the housing market. Like, we are on good money, and we are, we're just squeezed and squeezed and squeezed, and we're middle, and I'm just saying that I think that it's a system,
pretty much.
and I think that it's people are just the ultimate plan of anyone in that billionaire class is to keep us compliant, is to keep us so stressed and so anxious that we don't ask questions because we're too fucking busy. And I think that's the problem.
It's because the people who control it all need us to be like serfs who just work for a living and just grind out a working hand to mouth and do nothing but work to feed ourselves for the next day.
Mm-hmm.
And now, having housing being unaffordable, that's something that suits them. But as soon as us like wanting to destroy each other, or a civil war, or was like some sort of mass zombie apocalypse, and I'm without zombies, I'm not saying that the zombies are
metaphorical zombie apocalypse.
But if one of these fuckers could design zombies, I'm sure they'd deploy it somewhere and try and make $1 bajillion. If you look at who made money from the COVID thing and who didn't, the rich people got richer, and poor little businesses have all closed down. So we are blindly walking into a big pile of crap. And I like to think that crypto, and it's kind of being sold, at least, as a way for the little person to get around that, to get out of it.
And that's why they're trying to control it. Yeah.
But is it though? This is the question I'm asking. And you, Téa Smith, know the answer. Well, I don't know. Hopefully you've got a better idea than I do.
I think I do.
Is this like, I keep telling people, get out of cities, quit the news, stop watching the news, and fucking buy crypto. But is that dumb advice? Should people not be buying crypto? Is this something that's going to blow up?
I think they should.
Like a bubble at the moment.
I believe in. Honestly, I have a much more idealistic view of people, and also, as the Marxist scholar that I am, I also know that these things come to an end. They come to an end. Marx said that you end in revolution. It is inevitable. It can either be violent, non-violent, or you end in fascism, right? And I have a more optimistic view, which is that people everybody that I talk to says this. And what it is about critical mass. It's about, and this is where social media is the big question mark, because for me, the reason why I tend to be an internet utopian, like around, the freedom and blockchain and those things, is because I was around when we were sold that the internet was something where we could change hearts and minds. And what we're seeing is, I think we're seeing an aggressive pushback against that exchange and people organizing like this. I'm now calling them the gentrified left, right?
Yes, right.
This manufactured fake left, which has gone to war with the real left, right? And by design, but on purpose. I'm so relieved that more people than me are saying it now and seeing it, that these aren't the left, they're fucking neo-fascists, right?
And they're not. There's nothing left about them, right? The left is supposed to be the ones that care about other people, that want to make the world better, and they're supposed to be a little bit selfless. But these fuckers
they care about class. They're not elite. They're not elitists. And no socialist would use someone's job against them. No socialist would use a worker's employment as a weapon.
Exactly.
That's how they show their mask. They slip their mask, right? That's where their mask slips. Is that nobody would do that.
You didn't think the right thing. You said the wrong thing on Twitter, and therefore we have to destroy you.
That's fascism.
Not only that, we have to destroy the only public voice that you have, because you've got Twitter and Facebook, which is a monopoly on social media. Honestly, nothing else matters. Nothing else gets out there. You've got Instagram, where you can post pictures of yourself in a bikini on the beach, or pictures of you cooking food. Other than that, it's fucking useless, right? So,
and Marx, to quote Marx said that religion, right, was the opiate of the masses, right? To quote, it's a paraphrase quote. But we've created these micro-religions, these non-theistic religions, which, you could use that for totalitarianism or authoritarianism as well as a metaphor. If you applied it to the modern day, social media is as a weapon, is largely an opiate for the masses. It's an opiate for the masses. It's literally like dopamine and norepinephrine and all of the adrenaline and all of those hormones. You're on a constant high. It's literally an opiate of the masses. Okay, so when you say quit the news, you are 100% correct. But you need to quit the trending topics on Twitter. You need to watch. Just step back. Like, everyone's fucking stop arguing about clownfish and fucking women versus trans and fucking. I'm so sick of all of it. You know,
there's nothing to be gained from any of those arguments or those conversations. You're not going to change somebody's mind because you've got 140 characters of fucking gold that you're about to send out. It's not going to do anything. It's nothing.
No,
you're shouting into the void. Cut it out. It's just I say quit it. Quit the news and quit social media. Facebook and Twitter are useless.
As much as you need as you can, because it's still a platform for promotion, right?
I know, but it was Sam Harris a little while ago that said, "Jack, you should come in and I'm paraphrasing, just put a tweet up saying, I'm sorry, this has been a terrible mistake, and we're going to shut down Twitter forever." And Sam Harris said, "You'd win the Nobel Peace Prize and you'd deserve it." Because this thing is destroyed. All it's doing is making everybody hate each other. But it is the chosen platform of this horrible ideology, which is not Marxism, but likes to say it's Marxism. And I don't want to get an argument with you about whether Marxism is a good or a bad thing. That's something we can do another time. We've got a lot of time.
Well, Marxism isn't a model for Marxism is a framework for analysis.
Okay, fine, whatever.
Socialism is the model.
but none of it is that.
There's lots of different socialisms.
They're not being socialists. They're not being. You're being
they're not.
Idiot for corporations that are trying to make $1 billion from having people hate each other. That's it.
Yeah.
There's nothing to be gained from being woke. You think you're being good. You think you're being a good person, and some people genuinely think that. They genuinely think I'm being a good person by diving into this cancel culture and telling on my neighbors and my friends. Cutting people out of my life who've been there all for ages because they said the wrong thing or they didn't use the right pronouns or some bullshit. But none of that is helping anything. You're just being other than helping a few rich people get richer. And that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. And I have a more charitable view of I mean, honestly, when you understand that this is largely something that has been manufactured and promoted as the left in the United States, I'm more sympathetic to those who are trying, but they're just wrong-headed. I see it as wrong-headedness. So they've got good hearts. And the thing, again, the psychology of authoritarianism, I know we're not talking about crypto, but I'll just say is that authoritarianism, the theory of that and the psychology of that is largely that they have a certain psychological profile where they're also obedient. So they need hierarchy. So in the absence of leaders, in the absence of they make themselves leadership. You know what I mean? They go, okay. So, and again, people who've grown up on Marvel movies and who've grown up and Harry Potter and this whole hero's journey, this whole Hollywood narrative that's been pushed down generation after generation's throats. Of course, you're going to get a bunch of kids who don't have the right toolkit. They only have this synthetic. They've got class consciousness. They see that things are unfair. They've seen their parents working their asses off fucking nothing. They're seeing old people rotting in. You know what I mean? I'm saying there's that sense of justice, but they have the wrong toolkit. And so that's something that I really believe that I truly believe that the answer is not to go to the right, but to go further left. But we can disagree with that. We can agree to disagree.
We can.
But I'm saying that, have a go at the real left before you move to the right is what I'm saying. But which is that, but anyway, so back to crypto. I have a more idealistic view of humanity, which is that people are good. People want to do good. They've just been given the wrong tools. They've been given completely the wrong tools. They're only using the tools that they've been given.
It's been hijacked. That need or that want, that tendency for people to do good has been hijacked. But so is the way out of this horrible situation that we're spiraling into is me jumping through a bajillion hoops and buying some safe moon. Is that how I can fix it?
Yes. Well, I think what it is that we need to look critically at who's again. You have to see that there's a space race going on. There's a race to colonize all of the coins, right? Look at it through the lens of history. It used to be geography. And then it was, political power. Then it's money. Then it was media. Then it was media to own the media and the internet, right? And now, to own all of the information on the internet and control all of that. Well, fucking done, you fuckheads. I'm coming. I'm actually designing. I looked at investing in Twitter. Did you know that they lost $1.1 billion?
Good. Well, they've
been running. No, but every year they make a loss. The only reason that anyone would keep them around losing $1 billion every fucking year is because they're useful. So again, charity for Jack. He's bought and sold. He's got a company that's, like, I want to quietly buy that fucking thing up and take it over.
Well,
but anyway, I think we should all buy Twitter shares and take it over and kick them out. That's what I think. We should GME the fuck out of Twitter.
How do we steal it? How do we steal it from that?
We should have a crowdfunding campaign. I'm thinking of it. I have this is not legal advice. I don't know whether this is legal or not. I'm just talking shit. This is a comedy podcast. But I've had the idea that we all just buy up. I was going to, if I get my GME tendies, which I don't know if this is going to happen, but that's okay. I've thought about what I would do, and I would just go and buy up enough shares in Twitter to get a seat on the board. Figure out a way to get well, Jack owns 3% of Twitter. So there's like 600. They keep diluting the shares because of all the employees and everything. So everyone gets. So all you got to do is just buy up fucking like Ev owns 6%, roughly 6%, the founder, right? Jack only owns 3%.
So if I wanted to go and get on the board, would I first need to go and starve myself on a desert island and come back looking like I had just been in a survival situation?
And clearly, obviously on Valium.
Monkey's butt. Yeah.
And obviously existing on fucking Xanax in a Congress thing.
Dude, you've got more
Paul,
money.
I feel for him. I do. I feel for the guy. No, I do.
I don't.
That face, I do. That face is the face of a crisis of conscience and someone who sold out and is stuck. I don't think you. I don't. I don't. Again, I just I'm just more tuned to people, but I just tend to be more principle of humanity and charity than others. But I think people are victims of their circumstances.
Yeah, I mean, well, there was that tweet that he sent out when Parler got ripped off the App Store. And honestly, Parler to me was the most harmless thing I've seen. It just a bunch of crazy people quoting fucking Bible verses and talking about gun rights. When you look back at it, it was actually Jack Dorsey and Facebook. Sorry, not Jack Dorsey, Twitter and Facebook, where people were organizing for the insurrection. Anyway, long fucking story there. But that tweet was evil. That tweet, when he posted a picture of Parler missing, Signal was at the top, and he just posted love heart with a screenshot.
Yeah.
You're a fuckwit. You're not a good person. There's no problem. There's no conflicting what's the word, consciousness going on there. He's just being a dick. He's happy that he, and it was something that was absolutely garbage,
Yeah.
There was no threat to anyone. It was just rubbish.
I don't know how he sleeps. I don't know. Can I say, I don't know about you. We're both self-employed. If I've got an email from a client at 8 p.m. that's angry, I can't sleep.
Yeah.
How the fuck? You know that thing where they're like, or even not even a mad one where they just say something that sounds like they're upset, and you're like, oh fuck, all day, all night. And I go, how? That's me. That's how. It's like, how the fuck do these guys ruin the world and sleep? Like the rationalization that needs to occur in the brain fascinates me, and that's why I'm trying to study psych. I'm trying to understand like what gaps. How we can use people's goodness, because what you got to know is that people's goodness has been used as a weapon against their own interests. Exactly. I want to try and find the reason why I'm doing the psych thing and psych research is because I want to try and reverse engineer it so that we can turn that around and actually use good for good. So good for good, not good for evil, right? So but the fundamental thing is that I still believe people are good and that people are doing the best they can. Some people are fuckwits. Like I believe that 99% of the rules are around 10% of fuckwits, right? There are fuckwits, psychopaths, dark triad people, narcissists, and they get a really big voice on social media. But they're not in charge. Most reasonable people, when you talk to them, you can connect with, and if you're persuasive, see, that's the thing. A lot of this stuff is you can win more hearts and minds with good persuasion and the right ideas and the right vision than you can with bullying. People will leave the bully if you're a good persuader or you're a comic. This is why I strongly believe in the future of comedy. And some people like Tim Dillon and Bill Burr and people like those, like Tim Dillon particularly, as an up and comer, he's the future. He's the next George Carlin. I don't want to say that lightly, but I'm saying he's
really.
I'm calling it.
The father
I'm calling it. George Carlin is my My son has his middle name is Carlin. That's how much he was born the year he died. That's how much I love George Carlin. I'm calling it that Tim Dillon is probably, unless he goes down the fucking, the Mitch Hedberg like heroin like spiral, which I don't think he will, but I'm calling it. I think he's the next Carlin. I think he has the seeds of being the next Carlin as a comic. And I watch a lot. I know.
That's big.
I get Carlin chills when I watch Dylan.
Can you please tell me what are the 7 words that you can't say on television? Go. George Carlin.
You mean the 7,000?
No, this was a George Carlin bit, and I love it.
Yes. Shit, piss. Shit, piss, cock, fuck. Was it? Cunt, motherfucker, tits.
Yes, cunt, fuck, cocksucker, motherfucker, tits.
That's it, cocksucker. That was the one. Yeah.
In George Carlin, like his trademark is in there because it's got rhythm. Shit, piss, fuck, cocksucker, motherfucker, tits. It just works. So beautiful.
Legend.
I love it.
Yeah. But it's the same battle. It's the same battle over and over again. Puritan Americans telling us what we can and can't say. And now they did it with television, and now they're doing it with. When you see this as the exact same problem over and over again, the same fuckwits, the same battle. It's not and I think that the mistake that people make is reframe these things as new phenomena when they're not. They're actually the same. And if you go back to history and you go, okay, this is like even with the original internet, people were going, the internet's a fad, it's a scam, people are going to lose interest, no one's going to use the internet. I was sitting there I'm still having to convince businesses that they need a fucking website, okay, in 2015. And social media presence, and like that they needed to pay more than $100 for a social media strategist. That's my life. Right? Yeah. And so there's going to be people who don't like blockchain. There's going to be people who, are doubters, but that's, I prefer to just have a more, I think my mental survival depends on me seeing the utopian idea and seeing the possibilities rather than focusing on, I think the problem with tech in general is that we do tend to do that and ignore the risk of the fact that there's 2% of psychopaths in the world. We need to start creating things that allow for that and contain it and don't, the mistake we made is with the internet was that you have to build a product that assumes that there's going to be scammers, that assumes there's going to be fucking bots, that is, you have to assume that that's going to happen and mitigate that. I think that's the mistake that people continue to make.
You've got to allow human
and you've got to have a plan for it. Yeah, you've got to have a plan for it and a transparent plan. But we're learning.
And so that's why when you buy SafeMoon, you have to go through. Have you seen how you buy it? So you have to go from.
I just laughed because I just instantly, if something's called something that went, here you go. Here's some general advice. It's called fucking SafeMoon on the week that Doge was saying it's going to the moon. Are you fucking retarded?
Well, that's right. It's called SafeMoon. But then
what you have is FOMO. What you have right now is FOMO, which is fear of missing out.
Fuck off, I don't have FOMO.
That's an emotional weakness that marketers play on and
right now. It's dipping.
I bought Shibu, so it's not. I can't be to blame. I bought Shibu.
When I bought it. What a waste of time, waste of money. So you've got to create the wallet, then you've got to add SafeMoon to the wallet, then you've got to buy Binance Smart Chain.
Yeah, that's the catch, right?
And then you've got to swap BSC for SafeMoon. But to do that, you have to each one of these steps has got 7 or 8 steps in it. There's a video I watched on YouTube about how you do it. And it literally went for 12 minutes of this fucking kid who's 12 years old going, and I want to buy $150 worth of Binance. And so they're going and buy BNB. And then he's like, you do this, it's so easy. And he kept doing, and then I'm like, surely it's finished now. And then he'd do some more. And then after halfway through, and I'm like, holy fuck, this is the most complicated thing. He was halfway fucking through. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's the tech. That's the blockchain, is that also these fucking nerds, as much as I love them, these fucking nerds, they can't sell anything to save their lives. They don't value marketing. They don't value the talkers and the salespeople. They think we're all idiots. But at the end of the day, that's what gets things sold. And that's why Doge has been successful, because it's got a meme in front of it that sells itself. But when you actually try to buy blockchain stuff or crypto, that it becomes so hard to understand. I know I'm lagging.
Yeah.
Can you hear the audio though? At least is the audio okay?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly.
Okay.
I don't think you're
All right,
lagging at all.
I just got to. Yeah, hang on one sec. The video's lagging. Just 1 second.
So what is? Hold on. While you fix that up, that we've got there's a comment from Lawwand. Lawwand, hi. Thank you for all your interaction while we're here. Keeps posting XD. What the fuck's XD mean?
That's just big, massive smiley face, like with your eyes closed, like this.
Oh, fuck.
It's like this, like an anime face. I can't do it. Looks like I'm sucking cock. There you go. But like, hang on.
Do it again on a screenshot.
Fucking hell. No, I'm good. I'm a walking GIF. I really am.
I see. Yeah, I know. But it's okay. All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate the.
So someone also asked what Sam Ikin stream is. Sam actually does the podcast version of this, and Sam has his own podcast, which is go ahead and promote that, Sam.
Oh, what is my stream? Yeah, well, so my podcast is called Reasons Not to Die, and I've been very shit at it. So I haven't put a new one up for 5 months. This will be part of that, and I'll fill you into more details. Don't hold your breath. It'll probably be another week or so before I get it sorted. But I am a perfectionist. I just make podcasts for other people at the moment. I make scripted narrative podcasts.
Cobbler's children have no shoes as usual, right?
That's right. I'm a creative professional, and that's what I do. Well, that's not what I do.
We never look after ourselves.
I was a journalist for like 20 years, and I'm so jaded with that fucking industry.
I'm the same.
Why I'm telling everybody to quit the news, because it's a load of shit. There's nothing in it.
And I'm the same in the digital marketing industry and agency land, and so that's where we've had a similar journey, I think.
Which is why we just click so well sometimes.
Yeah. Because I think there comes a point where you just see, I think you reach a point where your idealism sort of gets eroded so much, and you see yourself. And this is why I empathize with Jack, because I also understand that we're bullshit. And how much we're lied to. I also understand how much we're lied to, how much that slow creep. I didn't even have billions of dollars to make myself feel better. And I still was in it for 12 years before I went, there's too many fucking dead bodies here. Like when Trump got elected and it all, but I just went, something's broken here. And then I, went into a deep dive, and then I got called a TERF and all that shit. And it's just like, no, I'm not. Yeah. Like, no, something's broken, and that's why I'm here 5 years later.
So Trump getting elected it kind of sent that hard left, and it's not even hard, like calling it hard left is ridiculous, but the
gentrified left,
fuck whatever it's called. It's not, and I like to see myself as a classical liberal. I certainly would never call myself a conservative, not anymore. I think I was when I was younger, because I was a bit of a private school dickhead, but Trump getting elected is what energized that fucking shit. I don't know whether Trump getting elected energized it and created, or whether it was created to combat Trump, but who knows?
It's a perfect storm. It's a perfect storm of something. It's a symptom of something being majorly broken.
What we know is it's a disease, and it is ruined everything.
Everything. And so that's why I've spent my life now, since I saw it happen and unfold, and losing my child over it and all that sort of stuff, right? Was that it? I know but I just had to find out why. I had to find out what's going on. Like why, you can't have a conversation with people anymore. Why, like I've lived through the internet long enough to see that this is not normal.
Tell us about that.
Can you tell us that story? I'm not telling. No. That's a private story.
Sorry.
That will be in my book.
Sorry that you.
No. It's out of respect for my child. No, but I also fell into mummy blogging. No, I also fell into mummy blogging, and I thought that my baby. No, but I think I'd love to talk to Heather Armstrong one day, because she was really piloting that. That sarky mum thing. That funny mum blog thing where you talked about motherhood, and I didn't really think about the kid. I didn't really think about. I was only because again the internet was different. You were sharing to strangers. You weren't defaming your family. You weren't You get what I'm saying? You were just putting yourself out there to a sea of anonymous faces, but you weren't, and the baby and the child, and you were sharing those stories, but they're their stories. And then what happened with Facebook was that became data. So I've talked about, I mean, I know we're kind of going, off on a tangent, but that became data, which was like basically now if you've been on the internet for any length of time and use something like period tracker, Facebook knows that you're pregnant before you are. They know that kid exists before you do. That's how much data they have on your children. Right. And so I'm saying that, I went into things not thinking about the impact they'd have. So I was one of those oversharers early on. Like obviously I'm funny. I like being funny, but I didn't know when to turn off. And I talked about my kids. I talked through my divorce. I talked through, but I didn't think about the impact of that stuff. And I think that's what happened was that confessional, they changed the deal on us. The contract changed from tell us how you feel, tell us about your day, trust us. This is a way to express yourself, and make friends that, that you wouldn't ordinarily make. And then they turn around and go, fuck you, we're going to use it all against you. They're like the ex-wife from hell that's used all of your secrets as a fucking weapon in the court, right? Yeah. That's how it feels. And it's that's the thing that I'm advocating for and why I want to try and build alternatives. But it's just like, that is the worst possible. No one told us that. That's not a contract that I signed. I know you didn't. I didn't sign that contract with Twitter in 2009. Well, they can tell me I did, but I didn't.
I didn't read the terms and conditions, to be honest.
Oh, but that's an unconscionable contract. It is. Okay. All you need is the right case and the right circumstances and the right. France has already ruled it as an abusive contract. Right, the power, it's coming. It's coming.
France is doing some things right finally after years of doing everything fucking wrong, and now they're fucked a little bit.
They do things a lot better than America,
but they have got a few things right. I don't like to give the French too many props because they're French, but I think they do get some things right. I think, and that's I feel like France is turning a corner. Perhaps in the next little while, we'll see what happens.
Well, the Nordic countries are as well.
I agree. Yes, France.
With a lot of the puberty blocker stuff and that sort of stuff. They go, fucking be reasonable. Come on, no, we have to get back to being, we're not saying you're not hating. It's not hate speech to suggest that drugs might have side effects. Fuck off. And that's what's happening. It's like so there's that push. That's why I said I have a more optimistic take on things. I think that we have to just push through. Clubhouse. Fucking 12-hour sessions with the same bloviators, not the answer. Eric Weinstein, not the fucking answer. He works for Peter Thiel. Fucking hell.
IDW has just lost relevance a lot in the last.
Oh, they're fucking
since before the election, since everybody could see that there was dodgy shit going on in the US election.
It's Coke versus Sprite.
Stop telling me stop it. It's dodgy shit. You got to look at it. I don't know whether it was enough to turn the election, but stop telling me dodgy shit didn't happen. You fucking idiots. Fucking open your eyes. Anyway, but
they're also not bright.
IDW just they fucking completely lost relevance through that whole campaign. Now and now they won't get it back.
Yeah.
I mean, they're probably still making a shit ton of money and monetizing.
Oh, they are. They're all millionaires. See, that's the thing is that they're all profiting from Coke versus Sprite. That I said this on my thing. I was like, Coke v Sprite, still owned by Coca-Cola company. It's Coke versus Sprite, still owned by Coca-Cola, and no one's pointing out that Coca-Cola uses more water and destroys the environment and uses fucking bad labor practices. And so it's like these Coke is like these alt-right fucking IDW people and this manufactured synthetic left in the US. It's Coke v Sprite, Coke v Sprite, Coke v Sprite 24/7, and no one's pointing out that Coca-Cola fucking poisons the water. For fuck's sake, look, zoom out. Sorry, but I'm saying that's a metaphor for American politics. It's fucking Coke v Sprite.
Coke versus Sprite. You mean Republicans versus Democrats?
Yep. Yeah.
Republicans, Democrats, and Sprite.
Yeah, Coke versus Sprite. I want water, clean water.
You mean they're both the swamp?
Yeah. And that's the thing is if you put an international relations lens through this stuff, as everyone obviously does, because, that's the automatic thing to do for fucking everyone normal. But I'm saying that it's a geopolitical thing.
See that more people are starting to realize
that CIA video was the smoking gun that we all needed. It was ridiculous. It was a self-parody.
The woke one. Yeah.
Yeah. There's 7 of them. It was like humans of sea. It was an
I
obvious. It was.
saw
I
one.
don't.
I don't give a fuck. But honestly, it's just ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. And Americans don't have the right. They got scrambled eggs for brains. They don't know, their axis is off. Like their political axis. You know, the political
do you think
spectrum. Their axis is completely off.
About like a very big generalization. But there is a lot of Americans who are.
Yeah, well, it's always general. It's always on average. It's not, yeah.
Yeah, I understand. But I think that that there's a lot of Americans who are, and I don't want to dive into the cliched, but who are waking up to it, who are...
No, I think most people just don't get involved in this stuff. They're not loud on politics. They
but
are the silent majority, right?
Yeah.
These platforms are primed for the loudest, most idiotic, most attention-seeking takes. I say things that are in a more ridiculous and hyperbolic way because I know I have to. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things. I try to still be based in truth, but I know that I have to say ridiculous shit sometimes, right? And I try not to do it. I'm not a journalist, so and you can use comedy to do that. So using comedy as a vehicle to explore the ridiculousness of things and absurdity is a really important vehicle. But at the same time, right? When we say generalization, I mean on average, and I'm not talking about American people, I'm talking about the American government, different, distinct people. And this is analysis. This is where people when they say the personal is political, it's like the political is not personal. This political analysis, which is America as an entity, as a global entity, is imperialist, aggressive, hegemonic.
Yeah, but we love them.
And yeah, of course we do, but we love to hate it and hate to love it. And it's one of those things, right? The thing is, I say this stuff with love. It's not anti-Americanism. That's like saying that critiquing Israel is anti-Semitism. It's bullshit. It's not. That's the same framework. And it's like, no, I'm critiquing the behavior and the conduct and the fact that they're taking us all down with them over the fucking brand wars. Yeah. They're dark fucking politics because they've somehow narrowed it so that everything is in the right wing. And anyone who is left of that is silenced and fucking,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, totally.
Anyone who's, you should see what they did to Jimmy Dore and like, fucking hell, what they keep doing to Jimmy Dore, right?
Jimmy Dore is awesome. And again, another example of a classical liberal who has now been branded as
he's a Marxist.
As a right wing, right?
He's not a classical liberal.
Well, but so like a moderate person who would have been, you would think of him as a moderate person from the left. That's what I mean. Right. Yeah. So is he a Marxist? I didn't know that.
He's a socialist. Yeah. And, right. But so there's lots of
enemy of the left. It's ridiculous. It makes no sense.
Yeah. But again, the power, it's the feet. Look at AOC, at the death of AOC. Like she started out great and just slowly got absorbed by the machine, and it's unfortunate to see. But it's just
character.
Yeah. That said, those big middle-aged men that get off on punching down on a fucking woman in her 20s, do they not think of the optics of that? Gad Sad is just embarrassing.
Oh, you reckon?
They're embarrassing themselves.
I haven't watched much.
They're better than this. No, but they're better than this. And that's what annoys me.
I love the fact that she is a young woman who's come from nowhere, who was a bartender or whatever, and she really pisses off a lot of the fucking old conservative.
Yeah. She's fucking great. She's like an Elon Musk troll. She's fucking great.
I reckon she's the left. She's she's Trump on the left.
I know. No. Okay. I think we need to stop saying that because that's what she's doing is just using populism. She's a populist.
Okay. All right.
She's a populist campaigner. Yeah. So anyway, we moved on. So let's move on to Elon Musk, seeing as I mentioned Elon Musk quickly.
Because I've been watching my beautiful little graph, which has just been going up and up and up, and then suddenly it started going down again. What the fuck is going on? Why? How come Elon put out a tweet? My God, could he just stop tweeting? Somebody take his phone off him just for a little while so that
I think you should keep tweeting.
Why?
No, but I think that you need to detach.
How did it happen? How did it? So we had there was the tweet there about Bitcoin, that it wasn't very environmentally friendly, so he was no longer letting people buy Tesla with Bitcoin. And now he's put out a few tweets about how he likes Dogecoin, and he would like to work with the people who run Dogecoin. What else is there? Are there any tweets that I missed?
He said a few things about
every time I tweet something, some shit.
Oh, the Bitcoin bros, they're the Bitcoin bros are salty. It's so fucking salty. Yeah. It's funny, right? Because seeing, there's nothing I love more, and I apologize, Sam, but there's nothing funnier to me than watching grown men fucking lose their shit like a toddler. And it's all those people, no, but all those men who go, you got to be rational and not emotional, and you need to not be so hysterical. But then their favorite imaginary coin fucking collapses because Elon Musk tweeted, and they're like the biggest fucking, it's like Rugrats.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I love it. I want Elon to keep but I love, because what Doge represented to me was that the fucking Bitcoin bros hate Doge, but also Elon Musk. There's a whole war around Bitcoin and what it should have been. Okay.
Right.
So, so basically there's a big split there. I won't go into dry details about the tech, but there was a big war about whether it should have, like a more cap supply or not supply, or, various, more energy efficient things, all these things. But they've been big shit fights, right, about what Bitcoin was and did. And certain guys won, and the guys where the coin was slightly more like Doge and more decentralized like currency, they were left out. So there's a whole school of Bitcoin people who wanted it to be more like Doge. That's the history. So the arrogance, the arrogance of the people who are like, Bitcoin should be this and it's all shit, that's actually staking the flames of a Bitcoin tribal war as well. So it's like, by saying those things about Bitcoin, it's saying, well, you were wrong and Doge was right. The guys who were saying that about Bitcoin are like, so there's this big fucking fight, basically, which is always great fun. And between grown men with keyboards, it always ends well. It's always entertaining. And especially when people have invested their whole life in things, we all know that the gamer geeks are very reasonable people and rational and just talk it out. That's what they do, right? When you disappoint a gamer or a Bitcoin person or a crypto person or a geek, they're generally pretty good. Well, they're rational and reasonable, and they'll just calm down and hear your point of view. And
totally. Yeah. Okay, so
Elon Musk has stoked the flames. And it's funny. Yes. But there's that. I thought that he was always inching towards supporting Doge anyway, but it was a hard sell for Tesla. So I think he's always been on Team Doge, but he had to sort of, you can't, and because the thing is, one thing that before they put $5 billion into Bitcoin, they would have done a due diligence. They would have done a risk analysis. They would know this about Bitcoin before they did it. It's not like they don't have, it's not like Elon Musk went on Reddit and went, I'm going to put $5 billion into Doge, although he might, but he might. But I'm saying they would have done their there's a whole legal process, a whole vetting process, all these things, whole audit. They would have done all of these things. So they would have known about the energy inefficiency argument. They would have known that as a critique. They would also know that 70% of it is on renewables. They know this, okay?
Yeah.
So they know. So okay. I think it's kind of he's just having a bit of a fucking whatever. I don't know what's going on there. But I think that he's always been wanting to do Doge, but it's a harder sell.
So he's just going through this thing, and I'm going to have to work with Doge now to make it what we need, so that it looks like you say, he's gone through his due diligence to get there. Yeah, but also but I also think that he Doge. That's what you're saying.
Here's a slightly new conspiracy theory that I've just thought of on the fly, which is that maybe he's one of those original Bitcoin guys who disagreed with them. And he's trying to fuck him off. I'm saying he sees an opportunity, right? So maybe because he's very technical. He built invented PayPal, all that sort of stuff, right? He knows this shit. Wouldn't surprise me if he was actually Satoshi, right? It wouldn't surprise me.
He invented PayPal. I thought he
started PayPal. Yeah,
did he?
He started it. Yeah. He started it by saying, "I want people to email money to each other," right? And then it sort of started from
I remember him being like one of the.
And they brought him out. He got fucked over.
He realized he invented it. He's a very smart dude, isn't he? He's an engineer So,
Yeah.
um,
He understands currency, right?
and
'Cause
what's this? Have you seen that Skylink? Somebody was saying if you go outside at the right time, you can look up in the air and you see 60 satellites all in a row, fucking just disappearing across the horizon. I haven't seen it yet. I totally need to go and have that. That
That's
sounds
crazy.
awesome.
Yeah. Well, I've got Starlink. I'm excited about that. But
You already? How much has it
especially
gone up?
oh no,
Did you-
Starlink. No, the actual product, the internet, like the product. I've signed up for the satellite internet because our NBN is shit. So we've only got our internet is crap hole. I reckon Starlink will be big in Australia.
I have fiber.
The NBN are gonna
So look, I can move like this.
Yeah.
See, no pixelating. That's right.
It's,
Thank you, Kevin Rudd. He was like, we remember it was launched down here in Tasmania. The NBN. Sorry, if you're overseas, you won't have any fucking idea what we're talking about, and it's honestly
our internet's shit.
Not worth knowing about.
Yeah. So anyway, so basically, I've just thought of it on the fly when I think about it, which is that these are all old wars and old wounds, and it seems like these are things that are resurfacing that might not be as they seem. And so, like with the culture wars, when I talk about like the culture wars, there's a whole deep and dark history around this Tumblr versus 4chan, fucking back as early as the beginning of the internet. These old wounds and old wars just keep carrying over, keep carrying over. And I think that this may be Musk, because there was a time also during this whole frenzy when he was about to go on Joe Rogan and things were weird. Remember when he was acting weird on Joe Rogan? That was like 7 years ago. It was only weeks ago, but it feels like 7 years ago. When he announced that he was going to be on Joe Rogan, and we thought he was going to talk about Doge, he was going to talk about like hedgies and like shorting, and he was going to talk about some of that stuff. He went on Joe Rogan and did a fucking nothing burger. And it's almost like he threw it. You know that thing where it's like, because there was the thing where, this is the tweets that people don't pay attention to, when he started to say, when the shorting thing happened, right? There's the GameStop stuff. He went, let me tell you a story about people who didn't believe in someone. And let me tell you a story about shorting. And then he cut off. He stopped tweeting. It was almost like he got a call. And he'd booked Joe Rogan, and he'd booked these things, and he was going to say something, and then he fucking stopped. And no one, autism for people, like body language and fucking micro stuff. He was holding back, and Joe Rogan was poking him, and he was getting like fucking laser eyes for mentioning things. And it was just like, it was really uncomfortable. And it was like, he booked this thing and he can't cancel because he announced it. And he showed up and just fucking nothing burgered for 3 hours. It was really weird because we were sort of going, he's not talking about the things that he was supposed to. He was about to start tweeting a story about the times he was fucked over and doubted, and he was about to tell that story, and he just stopped. And it was very weird.
That's very plausible. I think
anyway, it's bothering me. This keeps me up at night, not the end of the world. I didn't create Twitter. I can't sleep because Elon Musk didn't finish a sentence.
Well, look, what else have we got to talk about? Because I've got to bounce in a minute. But
yeah, good.
Yeah, have we covered everything we needed to?
Yeah, I think. Do we believe he's evil or good guy? That's what I think we're still trying to decide. Yeah,
it's so hard to tell. I want to think he's a good guy. I look at him and think he looks like a good guy.
I think we want to believe it.
But then that this is how this shit happens. He could be Jim Jones telling everybody to drink the Kool-Aid, couldn't he? Who knows?
I think he's more like Deadpool. He don't give a fuck.
Okay.
I want to be an X-Force.
Oh my God. Sorry.
That's all right.
Shush.
Anyway, that's all right.
That is my phone. And sorry.
That was our closing music anyway. That was our timer. We're good.
but no,
this went
before
better.
we go, can you give us your hot tip? What should we look at?
I don't have a hot tip. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor.
Don't please give me no financial advice, but name a coin that I should maybe look at.
Okay, so I still believe that you should look at BitTorrent. Samsung have added Tron's ecosystem in BitTorrent. It's got good underlying tech. It's a political thing, but I think that it may be one of those sleeper investments. That's something that we hold. Full declaration, we've got a lot of that. But but and there's another coin that's not released yet. I really enjoy the tech.
Is
It's
safe
got.
to move?
I was no, no. I was drawn to it because it's my daughter's name, Mina Coin, Mina.
Okay.
But it's actually blockchain that's only a few kilobytes. So they're blockchains that are small. So you could actually run them on a phone. Like, it's actually really good tech because blockchain, like if you want to download a full Doge node, it's terabits, right? Terabytes. But this thing runs really lean. Yeah, so it's but that's exciting tech. And it doesn't have a coin out yet, but keep an eye out for that one when it does, because I think that's going to be interesting.
What's it called? Mina.
Mina, yes.
MENA.
Mina.
Oh, what a pretty name.
Yeah.
I love it. That's your daughter's name too.
So Doji Dog said Tron BitTorrent, and I want an answer. What do you mean by that?
Tron, he wants an answer. Okay.
Well, it's on Tron.
I tell you what I like at the moment, and I'm going to be really original, but I'm loving Cardano and Stellar Lumen.
Yeah,
those are
Cardano is backed by Bill Gates and all those fucks. So
is it? Okay, well,
apparently there's blood money in Cardano, and there's all everything is political in crypto. But
yeah,
sorry.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's right. There's blood money in almost everything, isn't there? So finding the things that aren't that would be. I'd love to look at like what are the most ethical coins. If there was somebody. Not that I'm one of these fuckwits that needs everything to be fucking ethical. I understand the world; it's real. A lot of the time, ethics are broken, and that's just life. But
you've got to work within the system, unfortunately.
I'd love to to see which ones are. That'd be great.
Something that's not overtly psychopathic would be good.
Yeah, and one that is shit that you shouldn't coin that you should not look at. Shiba Inu.
Shiba. I would, full disclosure, I absolutely bought the dip. I sold the dip on that one.
You sold the.
I sold the dip.
I'm still holding
no. I haven't sold the dip. I just use that. I just joke and say sell the dips. But I bought that. I'm still holding it, but I have 6 million of the fucking things. It's like, about 100 and something bucks. I was like, I need to be a millionaire. But I think, okay, just general advice in terms of tips. Think of this like the old internet where there was this big race where everyone's in and offering you some scam or some MLM or some program or whatever, but fundamentals still matter, and still just try to, you know what, I looked into, like I said, I was drawn to a coin because it was called Mina, right? And I was like, I'm just going to buy her a bunch of those as a gift, right? And I couldn't buy them. And then I started to look at, because again, I looked at the actual tech and I went, this is actually a really, really good tech. And that's what you do is just go through some stuff and, and there's a lot to understand. Some of it is instinct. If you just like the name of a coin, you just like the coin and you think it's cool, or you like BitTorrent because you support them. There's nothing wrong with that. If you're long term on things, I think this is why, when you say you're freaking out and going like this in a 24-hour period, that's the thing that I think Elon Musk is good to train people for that. So him pump and dumping, which I don't think he is, but I'm saying but it's a good.
I don't think he is either. But yeah,
I've learned through GameStop. I've learned to detach from my the values. Through crypto, I've learned to detach somewhat and never put in more than you're willing to lose. Then you're not attached to it, right?
It's like having a punt at the Melbourne Cup. But look, so I have the very famous. Well, but before I do, the famous and extremely well respected cryptocurrency tipster. Who never gets anything wrong, a person by the name of Doji Dog just dropped us a message. And I don't know who you are. I'm sure you're very clever.
No, I don't know either.
Stella will be processing all Visa cards. I don't know. I feel like, that comes back to Mark Cuban's thing about does it have a use? Sounds like that's a pretty good use. So,
so BitTorrent's doing the same thing on Samsung. Yeah, so Samsung wallets with BitTorrent and Tron, they're doing that. And there's a number of coins that will be in those ecosystems. I think anything that attaches itself or has an easy digital wallet on phones is going to be the thing that gets chosen. Now, again, they come and go. That's like saying what's the best currency in the middle of a fucking global financial collapse. We don't know. That's like, we don't know.
I know, but I'm fucking asking, all right? So answer me. But, okay. Cool. Excellent. Yeah. Well, I reckon that's a pretty good place to wrap it up.
I think so.
It's been so nice chatting to you.
We've done better. Yes.
Reckon we've done better?
Yes, I think we've done better. But thanks, everyone. So
thank you for all the
you close it
comments.
off.
Doji
It's available.
Wand, who's apparently from Germany. Well done.
Yes.
Your chancellor is. Very nice to have people commenting as well.
Yes.
It's great.
Yes.
Love it.
Thank you.
And
Thank you. My multitasking is bad.
And keep an eye on Téa's Twitter. I hate Twitter.
Yeah.
I don't use it.
Yeah.
But for any updates on where the podcast comes out, I'll be putting some of this into my podcast, which will be coming out soon when I get my act together. So
we're a decentralized podcast. So you stick on my stream. So subscribe to my stream for now, just because my stream's like set up and all that stuff. But eventually, as we go, we're just iterating this. We're experimenting. If you want us to keep going, feel free to flick us money or whatever you want to do. You can go by my website and I split it with Sam. It's all good. We're all above board. But I'm saying if you want to help us go, then go for it. If you want to sponsor us, go for it. If you're a crypto that's trying to pump and dump, no, thank you. So it's all good. But if you've got good tech and you want us to talk about your tech, by all means, approach us, and we can have you on or whatever as a guest as well. So,
all right,
yeah.
All right, bye. Don't be a fuckwit.
We don't have a sign off. Yeah, I have a sign off, but it doesn't work for this. But don't be a fuckwit. You stole my thing. I've got mugs that say "Don't be a fuckwit." You can buy those. And also, fuck off, Ian. Fuck off, Ian, in particular.
Yeah,
I have a mug called "Fuck off, Ian." Yeah.
Oh,
so let's go.
And also language warning for this podcast. We got to get that in.
Late. Nah, you just need to put it in the settings. Fuck them. It's not America. Fuckers. Jesus Christ. Can we get like a real platform that's not like American pearl clutches, please? Thank you.
All right. Wind it up.
Let's go. I love you. Let's go. Bye.